Stop working so hard for a life you can't afford. Do you ever feel like you're running on a financial treadmill? You work 50 hours a week, you get a raise, and yet, by the end of the month, your bank account is still empty. You think you're moving forward, but in reality, you're sinking deeper into an invisible cage. 2,000 years ago, the Stoic philosopher Seneca issued a chilling warning. It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, who is truly poor. Today, we're exposing the trap modern society calls lifestyle inflation, a psychological prison where your wants disguise themselves as needs. And if you don't break this cycle now, you won't own your money. Your paycheck will own you. Chapter 2, The Silent Killer, Lifestyle Inflation. Lifestyle inflation is a silent killer because it disguises itself as success. Think back to your first paycheck. You earned very little, but you survived. You were happy with a simple meal and a modest room. But then, your income doubled. Suddenly, your old apartment felt too small. Your car felt too loud. Your clothes felt too cheap. The trap is simple. As your income increases, your wants miraculously transform into needs. You don't buy that premium latte or the latest SUV because you need them to function. You buy them because your brain tells you that your new status deserves it. Ancient thinkers called this the hedonic treadmill. No matter how fast you run, the scenery of your happiness stays the same because your desires expand to consume every new dollar you earn. You aren't actually getting wealthier. You are just becoming a more expensive version of a broke person. You've traded your freedom for stuff, and now you're forced to work even harder just to maintain a lifestyle that doesn't even make you fulfilled. This is exactly what the Stoics warned us about, the endless hunger that no amount of gold can satisfy. Chapter 3, Seneca's Radical Antidote. To understand how to escape this trap, we must look at the man who mastered it while living in the heart of luxury. Seneca was one of the wealthiest men in the Roman Empire, yet he spent his life warning people that gold is a heavy burden if you don't know how to carry it. He had a radical practice that would shock most people today. Every month, for a few days, he would voluntarily step away from his servants, his fine wine, and his silk robes. He would wear coarse, cheap clothing, sleep on a hard floor, and eat nothing but stale bread and water. While in this state, he would look at his surroundings and ask himself, "Is this the condition I so feared?" By practicing poverty, Seneca realized that wealth isn't about how much you possess, it's about how little you depend on. Most of us are trapped today because we are terrified of losing our status. We are afraid of what our friends will think if we drive an older car or stop dining at expensive restaurants. Seneca teaches us that true power is the ability to be happy with almost nothing. When you realize that you can survive and even find peace with just bread and water, the money trap loses its grip on you. You no longer work out of fear, you work out of choice. As he famously said, "Very little is needed to make a happy life. It is all within yourself, in your way of thinking." Chapter 4, The 4.0 Desire Machine. If Seneca were alive today, he would be absolutely horrified by the world we've built. We no longer just live in a society. We live inside a 24/7 desire machine. In the past, you only compared yourself to your neighbors. Today, you are comparing your behind-the-scenes reality with the carefully curated highlight reels of the top 0.1% of the world. Algorithms now track your every insecurity, serving you high-definition advertisements for products designed to fix a life you didn't even know was broken. This is the modern evolution of the money trap. We are being systematically programmed to feel inadequate. We spend money we haven't earned, to buy things we don't need, just to impress people we don't even like. We call it retail therapy or treating ourselves, but in reality, it's a spiritual crisis disguised as a transaction. Every time you click Buy Now to chase a status symbol, you are handing over a piece of your future freedom to a corporation. You are trading your life hours, time you can never get back, for a plastic gadget or a designer logo that will be obsolete in 6 months. The desire machine wants you to stay hungry, stay insecure, and stay broke. Because a person who is content with what they have is a person who cannot be controlled. As modern technology sharpens the trap, ancient wisdom becomes our only armor. Chapter 5, The Exit Strategy, 3 Stoic Exercises. So how do we break the chains of this modern slavery? The The Stoics didn't just diagnose the problem, they provided a tactical manual for freedom. Here are 3 exercises you can start practicing today to dismantle the money trap. First, define your finish line. The most dangerous thing about lifestyle inflation is that it has no ceiling. If you don't define what enough looks like, you will run until you collapse. Set a fixed standard of living that satisfies your needs and provides comfort, then refuse to raise it even when your income spikes. As Seneca said, he who has little is not poor, but he who craves more. Second, the 72-hour cooling off rule. We are victims of impulse desire. When you feel that burning urge to buy a new gadget or luxury item, force yourself to wait 3 days. Most of the time, that must-have feeling is just a temporary chemical spike in your brain. By the 3rd day, the logic of your wallet usually wins over the emotion of the moment. Third, the practice of negative visualization. Once a month, take a day to intentionally live below your means. Eat the simplest food, skip the expensive coffee, and use only what is essential. By voluntarily facing the lifestyle you fear, you realize that your happiness isn't tied to your possessions. When you lose the fear of having less, you gain the power of being more. True financial freedom isn't about how much you can buy, it's about how much you no longer need. By applying these ancient filters to your modern life, you stop being a consumer and start being a master of your own fate. Conclusion: the true meaning of freedom. At the end of the day, real wealth isn't about the gold on your wrist or the logo on your car. It's about the autonomy you have over your most precious resource: time. Every time you fall into the money trap, you aren't just losing dollars, you are losing days. You are signing a contract to stay in a high-stress job you might hate, just to pay for a lifestyle that you've been told to want. We have become a generation that is well off, but deeply unfree. We have bigger houses, but smaller families, better medicine, but more anxiety, higher incomes, but less peace of mind. The ancient thinkers didn't want us to live in poverty. They wanted us to be immune to it. They wanted us to reach a level of mental strength where our happiness is unhackable by the external world. If you can be content with a simple meal, a good book, and a walk in nature, you become dangerous to the system. You can no longer be manipulated by fear. You can no longer be bought. Ask yourself, if you lost everything tomorrow, your job, your status, your possessions, who would you be? If the answer scares you, it's time to start building the wealth that no market crash can take away: your character and your wisdom. The path to freedom is narrow, and it requires the courage to say no when the rest of the world is screaming more. It requires the discipline to stay on your own lane while everyone else is racing toward a cliff. Remember, you only have one life. Don't spend it being a high-end prisoner of your own desires. If this message struck a chord with you today, don't just close this video and go back to scrolling. That is exactly how the desire machine wins. Take action right now. Comment below. What is one want in your life that you realize is actually a trap? Share it with the community. Sometimes naming the cage is the first step to escaping it. Subscribe. If you want to continue exploring the intersection of ancient wisdom and modern success, hit the subscribe button and turn on the bell. We are building a community of people who choose freedom over status. Share. Send this to one friend who is working too hard and enjoying life too little. You might just save them years of burnout. Thank you for watching. Remember, true wealth is the ability to wake up in the morning and say, I am enough, I have enough, and I am free. Stay stoic, stay free. See you in the next video.